We speak to a Student Workers Coalition leader.
Get a sneak peek at Hofstra a cappella group's ICCA performances.
And take a look at Hofstra's trip to the New Hampshire primary.
In the first ever remote edition of Hofstra Today. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first remote version of Hofstra Today. Hi, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. Our first remote show. Super excited for this. Super pumped up. It's been a while since we've been on the air to give you the latest Hofstra news. In this show, we have jam-packed interviews. We've got packages for you, give you all the latest. It's going to be great. But Marissa, it's been some time since we've been on the air together. How have you been doing?
I've been doing okay. I've been doing my best to keep busy, trying to stay active, trying to stay outside, trying to keep myself busy with literally whatever I can.
Yeah, it's definitely been some interesting times. I mean, we talked about it before, how literally we spent all the time at the comm school, whether that being partaking in a bunch of different activities that we do outside of Hofstra Today. It just felt like we were there all the time. And now that we literally can't be there anymore, it feels like we got to fill that time with doing other stuff. And I'm definitely finding a challenge of figuring that out. But what have you been doing to kind of fill that time in as you practice social distancing and staying at home?
Yeah, I've been trying to spend a lot of time with my family, trying to stay outside, trying to craft a little, and I have been binging Netflix shows like you wouldn't even believe.
And I think that's one of the things is outside of the Netflix, but I think we can all take a little positive light of these tough situations that we're in right now. Yeah, I think you really appreciate kind of the little things in life. I've definitely, like you said, had a lot of extra time to kind of spend with family and just really enjoy kind of all those little things. But one of those little things is definitely Netflix for sure. Marissa, what have been some of the shows that you've been watching?
Oh my God, I've been watching so much of Schitt's Creek with SCH. It is an incredible show. If you haven't watched it, it is so funny. I've tried to get all my friends to watch it. A lot of my family members put me onto it. It's been really cool. I've been watching The Office for like the third time over the entire show. It's been really great.
Yeah, definitely a classic. I know that I've been kind of scouring over Netflix, Disney Plus, trying to find brand new things. I've got suggestions from friends. I'm watching this new show called Dark Matter. That's been pretty good, but it's really starting to find, those TV shows that I've never heard of. One of them is Tiger King that everyone seems to be watching. I haven't even seen it. I've heard great things about it. I think we got to hop on this bandwagon, right, Marissa?
I think we are the only two people in North America that have not seen it, if I'm being honest with you.
It's crazy, but maybe we'll have to try that new Netflix thing where you can watch together like online, and maybe we'll talk and discuss while that's happening. Start a little book club or something, a Netflix club, and we'll get that going. But all of you listening out there and all of you watching, make sure you leave a comment down below on our YouTube video to let us know what you guys been doing during your social distancing and staying at home, and what shows you've been watching over the past month. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Definitely. Now, speaking of television, one thing we missed out on was March Madness, and this year was going to be a special one for fans of Hofstra basketball. Our sports anchor, Jordan Chacon, is here today for an exclusive interview with one of the Pride's major players.
Thanks, Marissa. The men's basketball team won the CAAs and was on track to play in March Madness, but the season came to an abrupt halt amid the coronavirus outbreak. We now have a chance to speak with Coach Joe Mihalik for his perspective. Thank you for joining us today, Coach.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. Has this pandemic affected your recruiting efforts in any way?
Well, it's been different. We've been fortunate enough to get commitments from 2 players in the spring, and it was unusual because one of the players has never visited Hofstra. Never came to see our beautiful campus, didn't get to see our facilities. We saw him in person play through the season, but so it's unusual that he and his family couldn't come and visit the school. So we're happy about that, but it's been different. It's been obviously nothing in person. What the ideal thing is to go watch kids play in person and sit down with them face to face, not like this. This is great. It's the next best thing, but it's been different. But so far, so good for us.
Now, Coach, let's take it back to kind of that historic season that you guys were having. And we had discussed about this before, how you were on an all euphoric high when you guys had taken home that CAA title and were on track to head over to March Madness and compete in what was the first time in 19 years. What was the emotions like? What were you going through when that season and that goal was ultimately cut short by this coronavirus pandemic?
Yeah, it was awful. I mean, it was we were gutted. I mean, it was devastating. So Tuesday night at 9:00, we were cutting down the nets and, couldn't be happier. And then 43 hours later, Thursday at 4:16, we found out that the tournament was canceled. So it was hard. Now, because our students were sent home that week, so there was no classes. So about 5 of our local players went home. So when we got the news, that would have been DeJour, Bowie, Tariq Coburn, Elijah Pemberton, Isaac Conti, Omar Silverio. They were home. They were not on campus. So we gathered the other 8 or 9 guys and gave them the bad news. But even that we couldn't do the right way. It was just it was a bitter pill to swallow. And at the same time, listen, we all know this is very, very serious. And it was the right thing to do. It was a painful thing to do, but for the good of the world and getting this pandemic behind us, it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, so obviously this is an unfortunate situation. So I'm sure that there's some lessons to be learned from this situation. Are there any takeaways from this past season?
Well, there's a lot of wonderful takeaways. There's a lot of lifetime memories to take away. For the first time in 19 years, we went to the NCAA tournament. We won the championship. We cut the nets down. Our guys, the last game they played this year was the greatest moment of their lives for DeJour and Elijah Pemberton. Hopefully the guys coming back and do it again next year. But it was the greatest moment of their lives. So, and it was a great season. It was we won 26 games, and so that's like 53 over the last 2 years. So we're really proud of that. So there's a lot of great, great moments. But the lessons we take away from it is that life isn't always fair. And, our players didn't get to play in the NCAA tournament. But you know what? We have theater majors that didn't get to perform in plays. And we have all of our seniors aren't going to be able to walk across that stage. I think there's plans to do that at some future time. But graduation in May, knock on wood, something can be worked out. But there's a chance we don't have graduation in May. So, all these things are sad. As I said, life isn't fair, and we have to learn to deal with it and, now do our part to help get things back together.
Now, Coach, you mentioned some of those seniors that are graduating, DeJour Bowie, Eli Pemberton, Connor Klementovich. What is your final message and kind of some advice as they move on from their collegiate careers and start to move on kind of real life here?
Well, my simple messages to them were thanking them for what they did for this program. First of all, let's start with Connor. Connor was the best walk-on I've ever been around in my life, and that's a long, long time. He knew his role, he accepted his role, and he perfected his role. He was the best. Just such a big, big, big part of our team, and we're gonna be indebted to him forever. We're gonna love him forever. Elijah Pemberton, he rewrote the record books. He and DeJour both leave as 2 of our all-time greats. One more game and Elijah might have scored 2,000 points. He ends his career with 1,982 points. How about that? To get that close to 2,000, and maybe that first round of the NCAA tournament when we upset Villanova, maybe he would have had 18 points. And DeJour was he was the player of the year in our conference. He didn't get that award, but it doesn't matter. He was the player of the year in our conference and the MVP of the conference tournament. And he got himself to a point where, people may start talking about retiring his number for all he did for Hofstra. So, we thank them. We tell them how much we love them. We always tell our guys, we don't recruit you for 4 years, it's for 40 years. And we just wish them luck. And we know, because of all the great people all throughout our campus at Hofstra, we know those guys are prepared and ready to go be successful members and productive members of our society.
Is there anything that you're looking forward to for next year?
I'm looking forward to getting back on campus. I can't wait to get back there and get in the office and get back to normal. But I speak for everybody in the whole country, right? We're all looking for that normal. But we're really looking forward to, listen, we've got a great nucleus coming back. Jalen Ray, Tariq Coburn, Isaac Conti, there are 3 starters coming back. We got some holes to fill. But those 3 starters coming back, we're going to jump on their backs now and let them carry us to carry us to some more success next year. Looking forward to get all these guys back here. We're looking forward to get the new guys here. We have 4 new guys coming in. So it'll be a challenge. It's always hard, but we're excited to get back and get going.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much again for joining us today. I hope you and your family are doing well. Back to you, Ryan and Marissa.
Thanks, Jordan. Now, back at the beginning of the semester, award-winning investigative journalist Nicole Hannah-Jones spoke to the students about her experiences covering racial injustice in creating the 1619 Project. Head on over to our Facebook page to hear what she had to say on how she affected Hofstra students.
Wow, that was incredible.
Yeah, well, what an amazing package. What an amazing story. I mean, for me, the huge takeaway for me, Marissa, is the fact that she's one of us. She was an aspiring journalist. She is a professional journalist that has done obviously great things within the industry. But to see her taking on and creating this project to, fight this cause of racial injustice and discrimination that reaches beyond the breadth of just journalism, but really every single industry there is in the world. It's really honestly incredibly to see.
Absolutely. And I think it's a beautiful thing when people use their voices, and especially for a platform like this, and bringing it back to Hofstra and allowing students to use their voices for the same cause is a beautiful thing. And especially when you're such a community of people who stand for what they believe in and are standing on their 2 feet and saying, hey, listen, we're going to use our voices, and allowing to channel that energy into students it's an amazing thing. I love Hofstra.
And it's great to see all the students that come out to partake in, these events to really digest these, projects and things that they can learn a lot from, because I think through these events and through these presentations, you're going to inspire a lot of people. And I think Nicole has done just that to a lot of Hofstra students out there that is going to continue this movement and who knows, maybe be a part of the 1619 Project.
Absolutely. And speaking of Hofstra students, students in school are some of the people who have been struggling the most with the sudden changes in their lifestyles due to COVID-19. During April and May, Hofstra University's own Associate Professor of Public Health, Dr. Anthony Santella, will be hosting an evening series of hour-long webinars to answer questions that students from kindergarten to grade 12 have about this global pandemic. These webinars are not limited to students and are open to any individual who wants to learn more information about how the coronavirus affects them. The webinars are free, but anyone who wants to join must request admission through Eventbrite.
Hofstra University's State of Hope, which stands for Healthcare Opportunities and Policy Exchange, presents a conversation about closing the gap on healthcare emergencies. A panel of health experts will discuss the specific roles of government, academia, and the private sector during a public scare. Join the discussion on Wednesday, April 15th from 5 to 7 p.m. and educate yourself during this time of uncertainty. In order to register for this event, visit the Hofstra events page and sign up with the link provided.
How have companies been handling and addressing the COVID-19 outbreak? How can businesses prepare for crisis? Dr. Cara Alaimo, Hofstra Associate Professor of Public Relations, and Professor Ivan Cardona, Director of Hofstra's Master of Arts in Public Relations program, will address these questions and many others in their virtual panel, Reputation and Crisis Management. Join them on Thursday, April 16th at 10:30 a.m. to learn how PR professionals navigate communications within the public in times of crisis. Register on Hofstra's event calendar for the Zoom link.
Tune into a panel hosted by the Hofstra School of Health Professionals about the challenges COVID-19 places on birth inequities. Topics include healthcare access, the struggles of isolation, and resources available to expecting mothers during this tough time. 3 experts from the perinatal field will be guiding the panel to relay their experiences and the influence that COVID-19 has on the physical, mental, and emotional toll on pregnant women. This event will be held via Zoom today at noon until 2 p.m. Pre-registration is required, though, interprofessionalevents.org. Now let's go to national news, where Katerina Balales will fill us in on the latest news regarding the coronavirus and so much more.
Thanks, Ryan. The latest numbers from the New York State Department of Health indicate over 10,000 people in the state have died after testing positive for COVID-19. including more than 1,000 residents of Nassau County. New positive cases are still being found every day, with the state reporting 200,000 people have now tested positive for the coronavirus. Governor Andrew Cuomo has placed the state on pause, ordering all non-essential workers to work from home and requiring that everyone maintain 6 feet of distance from others while in public. As of yesterday, schools and businesses in New York are to remain closed until at least April 29th. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump announced yesterday the United States would halt funding to the World Health Organization over the UN agency's handling of the coronavirus pandemic. Trump told reporters he felt the need to review the WHO's role in, quote, severely mismanaging and covering up the spread of the coronavirus. This move comes as Trump himself is being criticized for repeatedly downplaying the severity of the pandemic, even as it began to spread rapidly in the United States. Americans contributed over $900 million to the WHO in the 2016 to 2017 fiscal year, although the organization reports that 76% of that $900 million came from voluntary donations. And now pivoting over to politics, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders suspended his campaign for the Democratic nomination last week, leaving former Vice President Joe Biden as the only candidate still in the running for the party's support in the 2020 presidential election. Since then, Sanders has announced his support of Biden as the Democratic nominee, and has former President Barack Obama. Sanders has since said that he and his supporters want Biden to adopt more progressive policies, but the Democratic Party's ultimate goal should be to defeat Trump in the election this November. And that's it for your national news update for Wednesday, April 15th. I'm Katerina Balalis. Back to you guys, Ryan and Marissa.
Thanks, Katerina. As we all know, coronavirus has affected many aspects of our daily lives, especially the 2020 presidential cycle. Many states awaiting their primaries are offering mail-in ballots or have postponed their voting date. However, a few months ago, some Hofstra students, including our amazing producers Julia Wachtel and Courtney Adama, had the opportunity to observe politics at play when we could still interact in person, back at the New Hampshire primary. Head over to our Facebook page to see the whole thing. That was truly an amazing opportunity for them.
No kidding. I mean, what an opportunity for our producers, what an opportunity for everyone that was involved. For me, what's great to see is I think events like these and being able to experience these, New Hampshire primaries and all the other political events, especially with what all the things that Hofstra has been able to do and how they've been involved in the election, really inspires young voters to go out and make a difference. And I think that's the big thing here. I think with these events, you're seeing the passion and kind of this newfound fire within some students that are involved in these events to go out there and, make a difference and go out and vote.
Absolutely. And I think it's amazing that Hofstra is able to provide a platform for students to go out and experience these experiences they wouldn't do otherwise, especially students who want to pursue careers in politics or whether it's journalism. I really think it's an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, and absolutely. And a comment there by Elizabeth to make sure to go check out that package. It was a great package. Make sure to check out on our Facebook page after the show. That will be put in there. But yeah, and from a journalistic side too, how we're both obviously involved in the communication school. What an opportunity to kind of get the experience from a professional side to kind of report and cover an event like this. Absolutely.
And I was like, that day I was hanging on to every single social media post, every story. I was following them throughout the entire day. They really had an amazing time. It's a great thing to see them go out there and be experiencing these things they wouldn't have otherwise.
Absolutely. Now shifting over to some other Hofstra news, that is the latest. On Wednesday, April 22nd at 11:30 a.m., the Zarb School of Business is bringing back alumni for a virtual Women in Business panel. This panel will feature Colleen Byrne, who is a product management specialist primarily focused on the U.S. footwear and beauty industries, Nicole Chaplin, a manager on the sports and entertainment sales team at Madison Square Garden, and Allison Roy, an analyst at J.P. Morgan. To hear the insightful words of these working Hofstra graduates, register for the event on the Hofstra events calendar.
In commemoration of the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which granted women the right to vote, the Hofstra Museum of Art will be putting on a virtual exhibition titled Nevertheless, She Persisted. The exhibition will focus on the struggles and contributions of a wide range of female artists through history. The event will be held on April 16th at 4:30 p.m. And although the event is online, it is still necessary to register on the Hofstra events calendar.
Ever wonder whether technology is the future or our destruction? Attend the virtual event, Kubrick's double-edged view of technology and the future on April 22nd at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. Our TVF professor Rodney Hill will focus on 3 Stanley Kubrick films in order to discuss various viewpoints of technology's role in our future. For more information about how to RSVP, check out the Hofstra events calendar.
Just because we're trapped inside does not mean we should be denied the opportunity to learn about our community and the wild animals around us. Virtually join Dr. Russell Burke at 3 p.m. today as he reveals secrets of our local wildlife, specifically the diamondback terrapins near Jamaica Bay. This event is free and open to the public, but all those interested should RSVP in order to receive the link. Join the conversation today.
Dr. Benjamin Rifkin will be holding a virtual tour of Russian poetry on April 21st. As a professor of Russian, Dr. Rifkin will explore and give a line-by-line translation of the significant Russian poems from the 19th, 20th, and 21st centuries. The event will be held online at 7 p.m. It's free and open to the public, but advanced registration is required via the Hofstra events calendar.
Hofstra's campus has closed for the rest of the semester, placing hundreds of students out of work. Luca Rosser, a Junior Student Workers Coalition representative, joins us today to talk about how his organization has been fighting for workers' rights right here on campus.
Well, Luca, firstly, let's start off. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So let's hop right into the interview. My first question here, why did you decide to form the Hofstra Student Workers Coalition, and what is your organization's mission?
So the reason we decided to form it is pretty simple. Me and some other friends that work on Hofstra's campus were just talking about what it is like to work at Hofstra, and there were some similar issues that we had all encountered across like our different departments. So we figured that it was better to not just put up with it and to band together to fight for better working conditions at Hofstra.
Absolutely. And what actions have you guys taken so far, and what reactions have you been receiving?
So far, we have had our SGA resolution passed to raise the student minimum wage to Nassau County's minimum wage. So that would be changing it from $8.25 an hour to $13 an hour. We have also had our petition demanding the same thing from Hofstra, and we delivered that. By the end, it had 1,076 signatures. We have also had Open Student Workers Forum, where we just had student workers come and talk about what it's like to work at Hofstra. And that was really great. A lot of people shared things that I had no idea about still. And now with COVID-19, we've set up a mutual aid fund for Hofstra students and the surrounding community.
So nice. And now moving forward and kind of looking at the future, especially during the tough times that we find ourselves in, what kind of change and difference does your organization hope to make in the near future and beyond?
Well, in the near future, obviously, we would love to have the student minimum wage increase to match the county minimum wage. Generally, we just want better working conditions for Hofstra students and more transparency about the working conditions.
So now suppose student worker salary was raised to the Nassau County minimum wage. Like, would you guys still exist on campus, and why?
Absolutely. That's basically because the minimum wage isn't the only issue that student workers are having. There's issues about training, improper training, issues within the workplace about like bosses not being great, clients not being great. There's a lot of various things that we hope to improve in the future.
Now, for student workers that want to get involved with your cause, how do they do that? And would doing so put their jobs at risk?
Well, to get involved, we are on social media. We have a Twitter that's at Hofstra Workers. We are on Facebook as a Hofstra Student Workers Coalition. We are on Instagram as well. You can also email us. It's hofstraswc@gmail.com. And no, it would not put their employment at risk because it is illegal for an employer to fire an employee for organizing their workplace.
Absolutely. So now, what are your next steps? Like, how have you made efforts to continue this mission since COVID-19 sent students home?
Well, our next steps is obviously there's the mutual aid. We're looking to provide resources to students and community members who have lost their jobs or have gone through other hardships due to the pandemic. So a lot of things in the future are kind of up in the air, but right now we are just working on the immediate crisis that people are going through right now.
And I'm sure while you kind of interacting with that and experiencing it firsthand and working with these student workers, what are some of the things that have affected these student workers due to COVID-19 and this whole tough situation?
Well, obviously there's a loss of income immediately that can hurt a lot of people. Some people have 3 on-campus jobs that are all gone now, and they now are pretty much jobless, unable to support their family, pay their bills, can barely get groceries. It's a lot of just standard financial hardship.
Yeah, it's tough. But Luca, thank you so much for joining us. All your efforts are greatly appreciated, I'm sure, by all the student worker body and the rest of the Hofstra community. Really appreciate your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
Now, many of us may be far from Hofstra, but nonetheless, let's check in with Leah Lane to see what the weather will be like in Hempstead this week.
Thanks, Ryan. Now let's take a look at today's weather forecast. We can expect a mix of clouds and sun today with a high temperature of 53 degrees and a low of 39 degrees. It will be breezy with winds reaching 14 miles per hour. It will be partially cloudy again tomorrow, so expect cooler weather. The temperature will reach 51 degrees for a high and drop to an overnight low of 36. Get your kites ready because winds will reach up to 17 miles per hour tomorrow. Now let's see how the rest of the week will play out over in Hempstead. You won't want to miss this forecast because Friday will be looking a little dreary with overcast skies and a 20% chance of rain. We can expect a high temperature of 50 degrees and a low of 36. Winds will come out of the west at 15 miles per hour. The weekend isn't looking that much better with cloudy skies on Saturday and a 30% chance of rain in the morning. The temperature will top out at 51 degrees and drop to a low of 41. On Sunday, we can expect cloudy skies with a 40% chance of rain in the evening. Expect a high of 54 degrees and a low of 47 degrees, with winds reaching up to 16 miles per hour. And that's all for your 5-day forecast. I'm Leah Lane. Have a weatherful day. Marissa and Ryan, back to you guys.
Thanks, Leah. This past March, Ryan, our correspondent Christina Petruzzi, and I took a trip to Hofstra's annual Irish Festival and participated in all types of super fun activities. Head on over to our Facebook page to see the whole thing. Ryan, that day was so much fun.
It was a fantastic time. I mean, I really didn't know what to expect heading into it. I never had been to one of Hofstra's Irish festivals before, but what an event. I mean, just the happiness, the joy of everyone coming together, celebrating such an awesome culture. It was an event that just had so many things. I don't even know where to start.
It had so much energy. There were kids there that weren't even walking to people of all ages. It was such an amazing event. The food was so good. Everything was really amazing.
Yeah, and we got to, you know, try on some Irish festive stuff. You'll see, you'll obviously have saw in the package that I got to put on like a little hat. You had to put on some other little tiny Irish festive hat as well. It was fantastic. And you mentioned the food. I mean, I love food. The best part. I mean, it was fantastic. The Irish soda bread and everything else. It was just great. And the dancers as well. The dancers looked awesome, and they're just so talented.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's shift over to some entertainment news. Now, prior to the COVID-19 outbreak, Hofstra was scheduled to host the ICCAs, the collegiate level a cappella competition. And unfortunately, due to coronavirus, the ICCAs could not take place. We have our entertainment reporter, Amelia Sack, here to speak with Hofstra a cappella e-board members about their experiences.
Thanks, Ryan. Before we speak to the a cappella leaders, let's take a look at some of the performances their groups prepared for the ICCAs. Head on over to Facebook and check it out. Our guests today are Olivia Ross, Melanie Constantines, Peter O'Malley, and Mike O'Malley. Welcome to Hofstra Today.
Hi, thank you for
having us. Thank you for having us.
So, how did Varsity Vocals handle the effects of COVID-19?
Anybody want to take
You could start with this.
Who? Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they actually did a great job, keeping us all in the loop with regards to everything that was going on. Originally, it was planned to be on Saturday, March 14th, and then we all got when we found out that school was canceled on Sunday night, they ended up canceling, or they were trying to move the competition on Monday, and then they found a new location for Saturday, and then they found out that we weren't going to be allowed to compete because of Hofstra's rules. So then they made it all virtual, and then after we all recorded our virtual submissions, literally I submitted the Hofbeats one at 4:15 on Thursday, and then at 4:16 they canceled the competition. So it was tough, but the way the Varsity Vocals handled it was the right thing to do, and they've been nothing but great, throughout this entire situation.
Wow. Now, how did you guys prepare for the ICCAs throughout the semester, and then the changes that you made to the competition?
Anyone want to take this one?
I mean, it's basically, we start preparing like as soon as the last ICCA ends. We're like thinking about the songs, and we're thinking about like the theme, whatever we want to do. But the bulk of it happens in the second semester. So we were preparing for like a month and a half. As soon as we came back for after winter break, Hofbeats even beforehand, they come back a week before. Sigma rehearsed 3 times a week. So it was a lot of work put into this. To have it all just, come crashing down in a couple of days.
Yeah. Making Treble also, we rehearse 2 to 3 times a week. We know like a lot of people have like different schedules and stuff too. So we tried to be as accommodating as possible. And as the date came closer to the competition, we started rehearsing more and more. And then everything just kind of fell through.
What was your reaction to hearing that the judges would not be reviewing your submissions due to the university's varying circumstances?
I think I understood the severity of the situation. I mean, it's a tough situation, and honestly, I hope that we all have enough connections where we can find judges that will be willing to look at our sets and grade our sets, so it's just able to help us in the future for next year, because that's really the important reason behind why we do this competition. It's not to win; it's to be better musicians and to be the best performers that we can be. So I'm hoping that we can end up getting somebody to look at it, but it's tough that they're not going to be able to watch us and grade us moving forward.
Definitely. Now, specifically for the Dutchmen, what has it been like preparing for this event, and how was your role affected due to COVID?
So the planning for the event started in August when Holly, the coordinator for our quarterfinal, reached out to myself and Pete about potentially hosting the ICCAs at Hofstra, because we actually did it last year as well. And so it's been a long process. We started in August, really got it moving in November. And the big thing about hosting is we sort of take care of all the behind the scenes stuff and run things the day of. So we, there was a lot of planning from my e-board of getting rehearsal spaces for, I think, 11 or 12 groups, getting, I want to say, 10 to 20 volunteers for stage crew, sound equipment, all of that stuff. So there was a lot of organization that went into it for months. There was months and months of planning, writing up documents, figuring out where someone had to be at this specific time, and organizing with Holly and working very closely with Varsity Vocals to get the event just set up and ready to go for that Saturday. So obviously with Hofstra canceling all in-person classes a week before the event was very difficult on our end because we were trying to keep the competition number one at Hofstra, so that all the groups who had been working for the entire year to compete could continue, but unfortunately that couldn't happen. We even worked with Varsity Vocals to host the event at a different venue in White Plains, but that unfortunately fell through as well. So we were sort of like the head contact person in that regard for trying to reschedule and replan the event.
Have your groups been doing anything virtually to continue participation?
Eleni, you want this one?
Yeah, so Making Trouble, at least, we meet still. We know things are pretty hectic now with everything going on, so we try to meet every Sunday for like an hour or two, and we all just hang out, talk about music, what kind of arrangements we want to do for the future, what we want to see in the next semester. And what I tried doing now, because of course it's difficult to sing with everyone online, so I decided to make a small, easy little arrangement, because I've been obsessed with TikTok recently, being in quarantine. And if you know the song Make You Mine by Public, I arranged like a little 30-second arrangement, handed it out to everyone, was like, hey, if anyone wants to do this, that'd be great. So we put it all together and we posted it on our social media just to try and keep all of us engaged and keep our audience engaged.
Now, how the way this semester? Ooh, sorry guys.
I was just gonna say, with Hofbeats, we actually will be releasing a single on Spotify and Apple Music pretty soon that we are all doing virtually, because we were supposed to record an EP this semester, or our second EP, which is now getting moved to the fall. But luckily, with our former music director Connor Martin, who works for the vocal company, he's coming in and he's helping us do a virtual recording of Bye 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 by NSYNC. So we will be releasing that hopefully pretty soon.
Yeah, and Sigma is working on a video that's going to come out in like the next couple weeks, which is going to be cool. Yeah.
That's so cool, guys. Now, how has the way this semester played out affect your outlook on next year?
I mean, I think we're just going to be appreciating every moment we have. We had a lot of plans for this semester. We were also going to be recording an EP, and that's going to be pushed to next year. So I think we're going to be like, it's going to be jam-packed with all the stuff that we wanted to do this semester, next semester, and we're going to enjoy it even more because we have to wait so long.
Yeah, I think with Hofbeats, that's kind of the same idea. We had so much planned for the rest of the semester post ICCAs, and it's a shame that we're not going to get to do it. But as a senior, I'm super thankful for the time that I had with this group, and you know, it stinks that this all had to come crashing down in our senior year, but I'm super excited to see where this group takes it. We just had our e-board elections for next semester, and I know my next president, Justin Shaw, he's going to come in and do some great things. So I had to give him a shout out, but I'm super excited to see where the Hofbeats take it, and they're in great hands.
All right, well, thank you so much to our guests, Olivia Ross, Eleni Constantines, and Pete and Mike O'Malley for their thoughts on their a cappella experiences this semester.
Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much, Amelia. Thanks for joining us.
Now, before we go, let's we asked you at the beginning, all you viewers, to let us know what you guys have been doing during this social distancing time and spending time at home. And we asked you what you've been watching on Netflix or what have you, what you guys have been binge watching over the past few weeks. Let's take a look at some of these comments, Marissa.
Yes. Let's see. Scroll through here.
The Walking Dead. I haven't seen it.
I'm just kidding.
Haven't you? Have you seen it?
I have not seen The Walking Dead. My co-producer for Sports Beat, Emily, is obsessed with The Walking Dead, and I've wanted to watch it ever since she talks about it.
So that's another thing to throw on our Hofstra Today Netflix events that are coming in. Love is Blind by Katarina. I haven't seen that either.
Little Fires. Maybe I need to binge a little bit more.
Yeah, I think we need to. We're not doing our job here during shutdown to watch enough shows. So we've got to add it to the list here.
Little Fires Everywhere. I haven't even heard of that. Wow. Oh, thank you so much, Sam. And then
people that have HBO, go check out Succession. Okay, we'll take that into list too. But HBO, I love HBO shows. They are fantastic. I mean, obviously, I've seen Game of Thrones. I've seen started a little bit of Westworld. That was in there too. But I think HBO is fantastic. So great. We'll always take a suggestion from Sam, so we know how much he knows about movies.
Definitely. Lock and Key.
Lock and Key.
I feel like I'm out of the loop.
I think we got to get like a group chat going or something because we need to figure out what these movies are because clearly we're not doing our job. Ozark. I heard really good things of Ozark.
Definitely.
And I think they just came out with a brand new season as well. I might be mistaken. Season 3 maybe. So maybe that is. Community is now on Netflix. Community is great.
Oh, Elaine. Community. I have so many shows I need to start.
Stream the Cave by the Hofstra Today. So a little shout out there to, or just our past interview.
I love that.
But obviously, Marissa, there's so much for us to still watch and get past this shutdown time, the time we have at home. Clearly, we're not doing our jobs here, and we're not watching enough shows. I guess you got to stop. You got to get off of Office. You got to get off of Schitt's Creek, and we got to start watching what's first? Tiger King, and then we'll watch Walking Dead.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do a Netflix party. Like David Honey said, we'll do a Hofstra Today Netflix watch party. We'll all get popcorn from our homes and watch separately together.
Hashtag Hofstra Today Netflix party. Let's get it going. Appreciate that, David. Well, thank you so much all for joining us today in our very first remote broadcast of Hofstra Today. We really do appreciate it, and we hope you stay tuned for next time.
Definitely. And check out our social media pages for all the pre-recorded content, all the packages that we referred to before, and for our full show. Thanks to everyone who helped make our virtual broadcast possible. And be sure to catch our next episode on April 29th. We're not done yet. Thank you so much for coming today, guys.
Thank you. And be safe out there.